Right. So the practice this morning is, or this evening, wherever you're checking in from, just a short uh, get yourself going for the day or finishing up your day. So let's start on our backs. Stretch your legs long, stretch your arms out to the side, pressing through both heels and reaching your arms overhead. Just feel your body on the floor, the places where your body's touching. Take a few rounds of breath here. You just want to come out of the conceptual thinking place that we live most of the time and into the body. So feel your heels touching the floor, back of your calves, your bottom, shoulders, back. And we'll start with some cascading bridge, rolling bridge shapes. So take the soles of your feet to the floor and your arms alongside your body, palms down. Just neutral spine, maybe a little bit of an anterior tilt in your pelvis as you press into your feet, lift, arms come behind, reaching up with your hips and away with your knees, and then leave your arms where they are and stretch your spine long along the floor, one vertebra at a time. When your hips come to the floor, just sweep your arms along back down to your sides. Let's do that a few times. Pressing up, releasing the spine first, really lengthening through your spine, and then sweeping the arms down back to your side. Great. The next time your hips touch the floor, just wait there for the rest of us. And now, as you lift your hips, press into your feet, just sweep the right arm behind and turn your head to the left. And now, as you sweep your arm back in place, reach your head back up to center. So you're coordinating all three movements there. Arm returns to the side, hips down, head up to center. Press into your feet, sweep your left arm behind, turn your gaze to the right, turn your head to the right. And then as you return your head to center, hips down, arm back to the side. You can work on coordinating those three movements. Take a couple more in each direction. And next time your feet are to the floor, take your feet as wide as the edge of your mat, arms out to a T position, and just softly rock your knees back and forth. The next time your knees fall over to the right, extend the left arm long, pinky up towards the ceiling, and you might take your gaze over there as well. Keep the inside and the outside edges of your feet touching the floor. So you don't lift your feet off the floor. Come back to center, knees to the left, stretch your right arm long, press into the inside edge of your right foot, the outside edge of your left foot. Come back to center and do a couple more just like that. Scanning through now your pelvis a little bit more, the legs. How's the low back feeling? Great. And then come back to center and stack your knees over your chest. Lower legs parallel to one another and to the floor. Press your feet into an imaginary wall here and just take a few breaths. On each exhale, draw your navel up and in and feel the beginning of some core work. If you had a block here, you could squeeze the block between your legs as well. And then interlace your hands behind your head. And inhale, you open the arms out to the side, press your elbows into the floor. And on your exhale, squeeze your elbows towards one another, lift your head and shoulders, and bring your knees in towards your elbows. Inhale to come back to the starting position. Exhale, round, squeeze, elbows come together, knees come in towards your chest. And see if you can still stay aware of the sort of upstroke of the navel as you squeeze everything on the exhale. Try to let your head rest in your hands rather than pulling on your neck. With each inhale, you might take the feet a little further away. So building some heat in the body here. Next time you're back to the starting position, rest there for a second or a breath. And then the next time you come to the exhale, bring the right leg long and left elbow or right elbow over to left knee. So a little bicycle action. Come back to the mat on the inhale, and on the exhale, roll up, bring your left elbow towards your right knee. You can bring the right knee in and straighten the left leg. Take your time. Building heat here. See if you can go to that point of just starting to quiver a little bit in your body before you're finished. And then when you come to that point, just rest down on the mat and either stretch your legs long or keep your soles of your feet to the floor. It feels quite good to just stretch here long. And then let's roll to one side. Stacking your head on your lower arm, stacking your feet into Tadasana. See if you can make your body as vertical as possible so you're not piking at the hips. And then lift your top leg, and lift your bottom leg to meet it. Lift the top arm. Rest the bottom leg down. Take your top leg into Vrksasana, tree pose. Pressing the bottom pinky toe into the floor. Maintain your balance by drawing the lower side body up towards midline. And then release and just take your top foot with your top hand and a half bow here, opening up the front of the leg. And then we'll come right over to the other side. Begin just by finding that position. You might have to use your top hand to help you balance. Let's see if you can use the obliques, the side waist muscles, to really pull the side waist up away from the floor to help you balance. And lift the top leg and the bottom leg. Lift the top arm. And take the bottom leg back down to the floor and take the top leg into Vrksasana, tree pose. Squeeze the bottom leg, really squeeze the bottom leg into the top foot as you press or rest the top foot. So the two are working in opposition to one another, isometrically. When you release the top leg, take that foot into your hand and stretch this opposite quadricep. You can release the top leg, roll right onto your belly. Let's just make a little pillow with our hands and rest our forehead on this little pillow, stretching your legs long. Draw your tailbone down. So really press your pubic bone into the floor and draw your tailbone long so you don't feel any tension in your low back at all. Great, and then we'll bring arms alongside the body. Rest your forehead on the floor. Lift your shoulder tops. Lift your arms and lift your head and shoulders just right off the front of your mat as you gaze. Think about length through your back. With your inhale, you might pulse up slightly. We'll take 3 more rounds of breath here. Keep drawing your navel up and in. And then the last time, you could just rest your one side of your head to the mat, or you could rest your forehead on the little pillow hands. And it might feel nice to bend through the knees here and just rock your hips side to side softly. And then we'll come back to the starting position again. So forehead on the floor, arms alongside your body. Notice how the tops of the shoulders just naturally go down towards the floor. Let's begin by drawing the shoulder blades together and lifting the shoulder tops off the floor. Pressing your hands up towards the ceiling, pressing your pubic bone into the floor, and lift your head and shoulders. Gazing out in front of you. Now you might also add the legs here. Squeeze the buttocks. Draw the big toes sort of in towards one another so you feel the hamstrings working. Keeping the back of your neck long for 3, 2, 1, and release down to the floor. Make a little pillow with your hands, resting your forehead there, or take one cheek temple to the mat and then the other. So moving your head side to side. Here also might feel nice to bend the knees and just take a little windshield wiper action. Coming back to the starting position, arms alongside your body. You can do the same version. So we start by lifting the tops of the shoulders, pressing the hands to the ceiling, lifting your gaze And you could stay here, lift the legs, or bring the arms out to a T position. If you'd like a little more fierceness, bring the arms forward in a Y. Y position. Draw the navel up and in. You could even play with sweeping the arms back and forth with each pulsing inhale. And then after 3 more rounds, bring your head back down to your hands. Make a little pillow or rest your head on the floor, going back and forth from side to side. And let's do everyone bend your knees here now. And just softly take some windshield wiper movements on your belly. Right, then we'll slide hands to low ribs, press yourself up. Slowly take your hips back towards downward dog, or towards child's pose. And then just bring your hips side to side. And then come to standing on your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands come to the back of your sacrum or the back of your low back, and bring your forehead towards the floor. You might not come all the way to the floor, that's fine. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, bring your hands down to the floor in front of you, hips back towards child's pose. Inhale to come up to cow. And then just widen the stance of your knees here and take a couple of cat-cows. Great. So let's take the left foot back, turn the toes under, pulsing through your calf slightly, then top of the foot to the floor as you inhale and lift the left leg. Reaching the right arm out, bird dog, and then on your exhale, bring knee and elbow together. Take a couple of rounds here. Draw your navel in. Feel the whole cylinder of the core working here. And then the last time, reach long. Take your right hand back to the floor. Bring your left foot over to the right. And then turn the toes under and take your gaze over to your left foot. Come back to center. Take the right leg long. Turn the toes under. Pulse through your calf. And then top of your foot to the floor as you lift the leg to parallel. Reach the left arm long. And then begin the same vinyasa on this side. Left hand comes down to the floor. Take the foot over to the opposite side of your left leg and take your gaze over there. So top of the foot or toes under. And a little twist here. And come back to center. Now take your forearms to the floor and interlace your fingers, releasing your pinky finger. And turn your toes under and come into forearm plank. Press the forearms firmly into the floor. Draw your navel up and in. Think about the top of your back lifting towards the ceiling. Squeeze the legs. And we'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees to the floor. Spike your heels, your knees down to the floor and draw your hips back. You can take your forehead to the floor, extend your arms long, lift your elbows off the floor, fingertips, just pressing into the floor. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Keep spiking the heels or the knees down to the floor and bring your heels towards your booty. And then forearms down to the floor again. Interlace your hands, release your pinkies, come forward, press your toes under, back to forearm plank. And pressing through your heels, press your forearms into the floor, draw your navel up and in. Feel the heat you're building for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees to the floor. Bring the heels towards the buttocks. So you're spiking your knees down towards, your knees are kind of spiking into the floor. Take your hips back, arms forward. And then coming back into more of a table shape, turn your toes under and press up and back, downward facing dog. A few rounds here in this down dog. And then rocking forward into high plank. Bringing both knees to the floor and coming back to your heels. So hips on heels. And let's reach the arms up, interlacing your fingers, reach towards the sky. And drop your left hand down by your left hip, twist to the left. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, right hand by the right hip and twist to the right. Reach up with your hands on an inhale, and on your exhale, come forward, turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Squeeze the legs, squeeze the arms, draw the triceps down towards the floor. Let's inhale the right leg up. And on your exhale, just rock forward, bring your knee towards your nose. Feel the heat building. And repeat that. Next time you come forward, bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Drop the left knee. And you could bring your forearm to your right knee or your hand to the right knee, pressing the right leg away and twisting over towards that side of your body. And come back to center now, and you can take this in stages. You might take your left forearm to the floor. Maybe you can get your right forearm to the floor, maybe not. And play around. It might feel nice to come forward and go back a bit so you're in a sort of a getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch in the front leg as you go back and forth. And both hands to the floor. Curl the back toes, press up, sweep your right foot back to downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg. And the same thing, you're going to come forward with the knee to the nose and repeat that 3 or 4 times. And then the next time you come forward with the left leg, take it to the outside of the left hand. Back knee on the ground, left hand to the left knee or left forearm, taking that leg a little wide and twisting over to the left. And then you can come back with both hands to the floor. Maybe the right forearm can come to the floor. Maybe both forearms, maybe halfway down. You'll feel an opening in the inner line of the inner seam of the left leg, the hamstring a bit. Come back, both hands to the floor, turn the toes of the back foot, sweep back, come back, downward facing dog. Bring your knees to the floor, bring your hips back to child's pose, reach the arms long. And you can take your hips to one side and your feet to the other side. So depending on the time of day for you and what you might need, a couple of options here. We're going to get into an inversion. So if it's the daytime or the early morning time and you want a inversion to wake you up, we'll come to the wall, back into the wall, and extend the legs long. And about where our feet land, our heels land, that's where our hands will go. So we'll bring our hands to the mat and just step up into sort of an inverted handstand using the wall. You can walk your feet down the wall slightly so you're more L shape. So just working, getting some blood flow to the brain, waking up. Now you can stay there. If it's evening time for you, if you come out of that, I just came out of that kind of quickly, but when you do come out of that inversion, keep your head down for a couple of breaths. If it's evening for you or you want a more settling kind of inversion, bring your hips in next to the wall and slide yourself around, legs up the wall. You could take a block or a bolster underneath your hips even, and just take a few rounds, 10 rounds of breath or so in this position. So both are inversions. One is more energizing, one's more cooling. Pick what works for you at this time. If you're doing the more energizing inversion, you might take a couple of rounds with that. Resting and then going up again. Maybe try going up with the opposite foot first and test your strength in this L shape, reverse L, upside down L. I'm not sure what to call it exactly, but feel the blood flow to your brain when you come down, knees down, rest in child's pose. And if there's something else that would suit you better, if you're someone who regularly practices the handstand or the forearm stand, you could certainly go to that. Good. Once you've settled again, we'll just rearrange the mat. We'll meet in a standing Tadasana at the top of the mat. And in your Tadasana, I've got a little sun here this morning. In your Tadasana, arms to the side, just really ground yourself, feet through the floor, into the earth, arms to the side, palms forward. Close your eyes and stack the back of your head over the sacrum. Draw your shoulder blades down slightly. Chin parallel to the earth. And then here now you could widen your stance slightly and bring your arms out to the side and then interlace your hands behind your head. On your next exhale, press your hands over to the right, hips to the left, gaze to the left. Inhale, hands behind your head again, and then exhale, press your hands over to the left, hips to the right, gaze to the right. And move back and forth that way a few times. Good. Then widen your stance using the whole long edge of your mat. Turn your left foot out. Keep the right foot where it is. Turn the heel out slightly and come into warrior two legs. Inhale, sweep the arms up together. And exhale, drop back into that warrior stance. Just a few times of vinyasa here. And then we'll hold the warrior two, coming straight out of your hips here. Great. And then bring the front forearm to the front thigh, come into extended side angle. One round of breath. And on your next inhale, just straighten the front leg and have your hand land on your shin or your ankle and set up Trikonasana. Inhale, the front leg comes back to warrior two. You come back up to the stance and then turn both feet to face, line up parallel to one another and the short edge of your mat. Inhale, reach long, exhale, fold. And bring your hands right underneath your sternum, underneath your face. Keep your hips lined up with your heels. And then press your feet into the floor. Draw your legs together and press yourself up. Turn the right foot out now, left heel out. And same vinyasa on the other side. So dropping down into the warrior two legs. And then bringing everything up. Good. And then once you land in that warrior two, drop the front forearm to the front thigh, coming into extended side angle. Inhale, straighten the front leg, front hand comes to the shin, top arm, shoulder stack, Trikonasana. Take a couple of breaths here in this Trikonasana. Draw the right hip in and under, right booty under. So the front leg externally rotates, back leg internally rotates. Next inhale, sweep the arms back, bend through the front knee, come back to warrior two. And then on your next inhale, press your arms up, turn your feet so that they're parallel to one another and to the mat, and exhale, fold. Bring your left hand underneath your face, underneath your sternum, and slide the inseam of your left leg towards your right leg to bring you into a twist to the right. You could stack the top arm. Release. Bring your right hand underneath your sternum or chest and drag the right inseam of your leg towards your left leg to facilitate moving into a twist to the left. So the hips are, moving first. We're not keeping our low back in a static position, but the twist from all the way from the low back into the upper back. We want really more these twists to affect the mid back than the low back. Low back has lots of motion in it. Good. Come back to center and then heel toe your feet a little closer together and bend your knees and rest your forearms on your thighs in a big squat. Good. Here we'll release into a fold and then drop the hips back into the squat. So it doesn't matter which way the inhale goes, which way the exhale goes. Just move with your breath. I sort of like the inhale here to come to the squat and the exhale to lift my hips and come forward. If you'd like to make a little more heat, you can do this with the hands at heart center. And the next time you're in that big squat, stay, rest, bring the hands to the heart center like you're in the goddess pose and slowly press into your legs and lift. Release your hands to the side of your body. Slide your right hand down your thigh and then the left arm up and over. Come back to center. Both arms to the side of your body. Slide your left hand down your left thigh and the right arm up and over. Inhale back to center. Come back into the squat. Come back to hands or forearms on your thighs. Repeat that little vinyasa. The next time you're in the deep squat, bring your hands to your heart center like goddess. Slowly press up with the legs. Release your hands to your sides. So your hands are touching the outsides of your thighs. Slide your right hand down your thigh, left hand up and over. Back to center. Take your left hand, slide it down your thigh, right arm up and over. Come back to center. And now just bring your arms up overhead. Maybe the hands touch together. See if you can get the hands together without jutting the head forward, the jaw forward. So the biceps are lined up with the ears and you draw your tailbone long. And maybe you can bend at the elbows and bring your hands behind your head. Prayer position or just interlaced fingers touching. And then reach up again. This time separate the hands and take a gaze up at your hands. Exhale to fold. As you fold now, bring the heel toe, the feet together. So you're coming into a stance about as wide as your hips. Good. And then from here, you'll just drop to your booty, coming into a hip balance. So that could be, the legs could be bent, hands behind the back of your legs. Your legs could be long in a full boat. So half boat, full boat, you choose. And then wherever you are, take your feet to the floor, bring your hands behind you, press your hands firmly into the floor and draw your chest forward, expanding through your collarbones. Tilt the pelvis anteriorly or forward. So you get this little curve in the back. Great. Then from here, you'll take the legs long. And if you can maintain that curve in your back, walk your hands up by your hips. Crown of the head reaches up nice and tall. And then you can begin to hinge at the waist, bringing yourself a little forward in this Dandasana. Just only if you can maintain that neutral spine to slightly anterior tilt of the pelvis. As soon as you find yourself rounding your back, set your hands back again and find that same position in your low back. Great. And we'll come back up. Take the feet a little bit wider, slide the left foot in, Janu Shirshasana. So left foot into the thighs. And then just begin we want that same configuration in the low back. So it might be that you keep your hands behind your back, shine the collarbone, shine the heart, press the right heel into the floor. Really squeeze that right leg, press the left bent leg into the floor. Really feel the strength of your legs. So you keep that little arch in the back as you come forward, come folding forward. Really press down with the right heel. Good. Now from here, you could take the twist to the extended leg. You could simply reach your right hand out to that leg and come open the left side body. Or you might feel like you can get a little bit more of a forward fold. Keep the toes of the right foot pointing up to the ceiling. You might bring your right forearm to the inside of that leg or rest it on the block. Sort of choose what feels like a nice supportive stretch for you that's going to open side waist, a little bit of a forward fold, maybe a twist. And stay honest here with what your body needs and wants and what serves your body rather than depletes you in some way. You come back up, we'll take a little twist to the bent leg side. And coming back, resting, put your hands behind your body to make the switch. So now left leg is long, right leg is in, or whatever is opposite for you. Press, squeeze that long leg and press that heel into the floor. Start with your hands behind your back. Get the length through the spine. Get the little anterior tilt of the pelvis. And then maybe you can bring your hands just right in the center of everything. So forward, just right in the center. Same thing here. You want to stay, this side might feel completely different. So we want to stay honest with ourselves. Might feel nice just to begin the twist and the side opening. Take it slowly and really get the information from your body. When we come up, we'll take a twist to the bent leg side. Come back to center, and then take the legs long. Hands behind you, right? And then slowly supporting yourself, coming maybe down to the forearms first, keeping the arch in the back, coming all the way to the floor. And here, yogi's choice, you might be ready to drop into Shavasana for now. And you might want to take a figure 4. On both sides, stretching the outer hip. So supine pigeon here. If you come to this is a pretty common stretch we do. So see if you can maybe do something about it a little differently. I feel like I go right to this and I round myself in. So I'm always telling myself to drop my hips back to the back open or to the floor. So lengthening my tailbone. Make sure you do both sides in equal amount. You might take some version of happy or laughing baby. And as you settle, you might even take a block underneath your sacrum, legs up for a supported shoulder stand. If you have a strong practice already of shoulder stand and you know how to support and set that up and you have the props, you could go to a shoulder stand. Otherwise, start to settle yourself into the Shavasana shape. See if you can now let any effort go, just releasing your body to the earth, letting gravity do its good work. Scanning head to toe for any tension, places you might be holding tension, and see if you can let that tension just go, melt into the earth. And just remain in Shavasana for as long as it serves you, your um, body resting on the earth. Namaste.